I mourned this friendship like she had died.
I'm going to say the math is not mathing on this. Hey everybody, so today's episode we are going to be talking about the people who have had to mourn a friendship without a funeral. We're going to talk about friendship breakups, which, by this time in our lives, I feel like no matter who you are, you've at least had some type of a friendship end, whether it's been a little, phase out and just circumstances have your friendship kind of glide away, or you've had kind of the dramatic, our friendship is over situation. So I brought Sarah back today, my sister Sarah. This is her third podcast appearance. Woo. And you are one of those so lucky people who have had a friendship end in more the dramatic sense. And so wanted to bring you back to kind of talk about your experience and then kind of open it up to talk about friendship at this age and friendships ending and finding friendships that feel genuine and authentic and the kind of people that we want to keep in our lives long term. Before we dive into friendship breakups though, I wanted to just catch up and see how's it going.
It's going great. I have lived in the Nashville area now for a month. It's been really busy and I have gone back to Indiana a couple times, but we're settling in. I'm getting boxes unpacked and things hung on the walls and I've painted one room.
Anyone who's watching on YouTube, which I just have to do a shout out for, there are a good number of people who consume their podcasts via YouTube. It's a great place to see our faces. Sometimes we're able to, show things. That sounds really pornographic. It's not, though. We refer to something. We're talking with our hands. You can see the expressions on our faces. So, if you're a YouTube person, the podcast is there as well. So I interrupted you because you had something behind you. You have this lovely,
it's okay.
What do you pronounce? Agate? Is that what you would call it?
I think so.
Like an agate picture.
So I'm getting moved in. I'm getting things on the walls. I painted one room. I may just stick with painting the one and maybe my bathroom because it's a rental. So I have to paint it back before I move out. The less work, the better. I started practicing with the Nashville roller derby team. So that's been really fun. It's been a challenge, but I'm excited. And my 18-year-old needs to find a job. It's been hard. He's applied for a lot of things and no response. So
it's hard because we live in a college town. And so there are thousands and thousands of people who are, 18. There's kind of this pocket of jobs that you would say, somebody who has graduated high school but has not graduated college would be mostly qualified for.
But even a dishwasher, he's applied for a few dishwasher jobs.
And nothing. Oh, goodness. I have to tell you a story that I haven't told you before. Something that happened today.
Oh, you're going to get reaction, real-time reaction.
Real-time reaction. I almost said this, and this is a micro story. So temper your expectations. So for all of our listeners and watchers, Sarah and I went to the gym together this morning. We took a class at the gym.
Yes, we did.
And as we were putting our equipment away, I turned around, and it's I momentarily forgot that, one, you lived in our town, and two, you were at the gym with me. And I just saw you and I thought, oh, that girl's so pretty. And then it was microsecond later, it was
and then you were like, that's Sarah. Oh, thank you.
You're
that's
welcome.
A genuine compliment.
And I was going to tell you right there. And I was gotta save it for the pod.
Gotta save it for the podcast. Aw, thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. We haven't really gotten a lot of sister time this month because either I've been out of town or you've had family in town.
Yeah, my husband's side of the family, they've been here for a week and it's been great, but it's just been very busy. Haven't really seen any friends, neighbors,
But now kids started school today.
Not a moment too soon. I love my children, but this structure-free way of summer, by the time we hit mid-July, I'm just get these kids back to school.
Time to go back.
So this morning was their first full day. And so it was okay, doing the normal morning rush. I mean, my high schooler is as self-sufficient, as they come. So all it was is I heard him stirring around. He got himself completely ready, came downstairs. I don't know if he had any breakfast or not, but he said, my ride's here. And he left because his friend drives him to school, which is just a whole another type of scary that we will visit later. But it's 1 p.m. and
then we went to the gym.
Went to
then
the
we
gym,
went
went
to
to breakfast. I know. I felt like a fancy lady that I was able to just do that and not think of like, oh, my kids are rotting on the couch watching screens for, the third hour in a row. Anyway, let's get to today's topic, which to revisit, friend breakup. So Sarah, tell the audience all about your experience.
Okay. So I had a friend, we're going to call her Brittany.
We don't have any close friends named Brittany.
Right. And I'm sorry if you are a close friend that I forgot about, whose name actually is Brittany. You know what I mean?
We're not talking about you.
We're not talking about you. So friend breakup, we're going to call her Brittany. She and I were friends for probably 4 or 5 years. And like we weren't super close at first. She was actually more your friend. But then probably right at the tail end of the COVID time, she and I just got really super close and we would hang out all the time. She was there for me through my divorce. Like she would bring me food in my bed. Really
truly showed up like a genuine friend.
Showed up. So genuine.
You guys seem to be just super like soul sister.
Right.
Very much
that's how it felt.
Intertwined in each other's lives.
So many just inside jokes and everything was easy. So this is kind of how things went downhill. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. I had been friends with her husband's brother for about a year. He had come to visit a few times. He lived out of state, but we met when he visited and just became friends. Almost a year after I met him, he and I started talking a lot. We'd always kind of, just had good friendship chemistry, but we were talking a lot more.
And you were divorced. He was divorced.
I was divorced and he's divorced. We both have kids. So this is about a year after knowing him. I decided to take a trip to the state where he lives. We spent a lot of time together, but there are a lot of other friends that I have in that area. And so I visited probably 5 different friends. But yeah, he and I did spend a lot of time together. And when I came home, we had decided we would like to try long distance dating. So I was really excited and I came home and I told her about it. And I thought she would be really, really happy because she had suggested like maybe the year before that it would be cool if we started dating. Like she had mentioned that a while ago.
She thought the two of you would be a possible match.
Yes. She was like, I think it would be really cool if you guys wanted to date. But I was in a relationship at the time and I was like, yeah, well, she was like, I don't want to mess up anything between you and your boyfriend, but if it ever worked out, that would be cool. So I went into it thinking, oh, she's going to be excited. She was not excited. I came home and we went on a walk and I was telling her all about my trip and she flipped out on me. Like she was angry. She accused me of being a bad mom. I'm like, where is this coming from? I don't understand. She said that we were hiding the relationship from her. And she was like, why would you not even like ask me what I thought? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm a grown up. I didn't know I needed your permission. But in general, I was very apologetic. Like, I'm so sorry if I did anything to hurt you or offend you or.
One would think if you were her best friend, that would be you are somebody that she would want you to date somebody. I mean, if she trusted you and loved you as a friend, you would think that you're a good person. You're the type of person she would like, to introduce to other people special. The math ain't mathin'.
Even if your most unhinged friend was going to date your husband's brother, you wouldn't get mad. Like,
no,
you'd just
it would
be like,
ooh, this
good
is
luck.
Gonna be a train wreck, okay.
Right. But like the anger, I feel like there's got to be something underlying, but I don't know. So all of that came out and all I could say was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Clearly that just ruined the beginning of that newly budding relationship. So anyway, I didn't get defensive. I let her just get it all out. And then I didn't hear from her for a week, which is weird because we would touch base every day. So a week passed without any communication. I think I had sent a message to her saying, hey, I would love to talk whenever you're ready. So about a week passed. She messaged me and said, I'm ready to talk. So we got together and she apologized for the things that she said and the anger and said that our friendship was too important to throw away over something like this. And I thought we had mended things. The next couple weeks, though, there were always excuses about like, I would say, hey, let's get together. And she would be like, oh, I'm so busy. Lots of just reasons. And then 2 or 3 weeks had passed. I sent her a text and I said, "Oi, why are you being so distant?" She responded. She sent me a text, and the gist of it was, "I'm spending time with the people that I want to. You are not one of those people. If you want to talk, I'll listen, but I don't have anything to say." And then she's like, "I want to be friendly because we have a lot of friends in common. So let's be friendly when we see each other." But I'm just like, that's not me. I can't do that.
Again, I'm going to say the math is not mathing on this. I understand that you did something that ruffled her feathers.
Clearly something had been bothering her before that, though, that caused her to react this way. And I don't really know why or what, but I'm not gonna dig up drama. I'm not gonna stir it up.
And also, it's not like you two were just casual friends.
No,
you
no,
were
she was my best friend.
Friends.
Yeah.
She knew things, very personal details about your life and vice versa.
Yeah.
You had really bonding experiences with each other. It wasn't just like she was a casual friend and you did something that made her mad and then she was like, "You're out." It just seems so wild that something seemingly fairly benign. I mean, yes, maybe you were a little bit thoughtless with the way that things happened.
Yeah.
But
also, I was kind of protecting myself because I'm like, oh, what if this doesn't work out? You know, I don't want to tell everybody like, ooh, I'm excited about this possible new relationship and then it not work.
So that was a little over a year ago.
Yeah. And then 6 months after that, she reached out to me and another friend who had kind of distanced herself from Brittany as well and said basically like, things happened and I pulled back hard and I feel like things are awkward when we run into each other because we don't know how to act. Let's get together and talk. But I'm just like, I felt like you died. I mourned this friendship like she had died. And for her to not acknowledge how hurtful what she did was, I feel like if you don't understand how much that hurt, I can't explain it and I don't know where to go.
She recognized her actions, but she did not seem to recognize how it made you
how
feel.
They affected me. Yeah.
And that it left a hole in your life. Let's think of the timeline of your life. You had just gone through a divorce, 2 years prior to that. And then to have this happen, I mean, gosh.
Yeah, and it really...
Your 40s have been really rough so far.
The abandonment, I feel like, really poked that wound that was still open from the divorce, just being discarded. After we had met up that 6 months later, she had said, if you want to continue talking, we can get together and do that. And I was open to it. But then when I talked to another friend about how I was planning on getting together with her, she was like, "Did I ever tell you what she said about you?" And I was like, "No, I don't think you did." She was like, "Okay, well, when all this was going down, she just was spewing what a terrible person you are, all these bad things." And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get together with her again. I need to just leave this in the past and move forward.
While you're in the midst of all of this, did you do a little bit of self-inventory to really think, am I the drama? Hello, is the problem
for sure. I did. And I can see where I made some decisions that probably weren't the healthiest for her. There were times that I thought I was being a good friend when I realized I probably should have called her out. But I thought we were there for each other. So it really felt like a death. And yeah, there were signs that the friendship wasn't the healthiest. I mean, maybe it was too codependent or something. But I thought this is what friends do for each other. They show up, they're there through the hard things. That's what you do. I realize now, like, maybe I should have been more honest and been like, this is not healthy. Like, kind of put up a mirror instead of just being like, oh, you're great.
Just being her cheerleader.
Right.
I think with true friendship, there is a point where you are not just solely the cheerleader or the yes man. You have to kind of have that ability to say, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's look at this. Not just let your friends, if they're in a self-destructive pattern, like find a way to kind of bring that up.
So now I realize I don't need as much social time as I used to. It caused me to re-examine my life and realize I want to change things. I want to go back to school. I just have different priorities now.
And you don't have time for friendships that are messy. And at
I don't
this
got time for that.
age,
I ain't got time for that. I have enough. I have enough stress.
well, it's like you've got enough going on in your life. You do not have bandwidth for a messy friendship on top of it.
No, I don't.
So Elle magazine, they did an article. It was in August 2024, and it's called "We Need to Talk About Our Ex-Best Friends." And it is really eye-opening what I saw in this article. So there was a stat that said 88% of women said that their friendship breakup hit just as hard or harder than a romantic breakup.
Yeah, you're worried
Why
about
do you-
running into them, like around town. Like, are they going to be at an event that you're also invited to? That's hard. What do you do when you see them in pictures with other people?
I mean, I feel like with you, it's kind of hard to say, did it hit as hard as your divorce? But it hit pretty hard. I mean, your life had been very intertwined with this person.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the article, it pointed out kind of the lack of social recognition as the pain of a friendship breakup. Like with a divorce, people get it. If you say, I'm going through a divorce or I'm going through, a breakup with my partner, people get that and they recognize, oh, this is going to be painful for these reasons and for, a length of time. They don't expect you to just get over it, right?
Right.
But with a friendship breakup, I feel like there's not any type of a societal framework that really recognizes and supports, because it's just like, oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry. But people aren't really checking in on you in the same way that they would, nobody's throwing you had a divorce shower. Nobody's throwing you a friendship breakup shower. You know what I mean? And not that you would need one.
No.
But, there is this loss. There is a void. It feels like, like you said,
absolutely.
it feels like a death.
And now I almost have like scar tissue over that. It's not that I wouldn't welcome another close friendship, because I still have those, but it lets me keep things at more of a distance. However, I don't know if I could have kept her at a distance through my divorce, because I was shattered.
You didn't want distance.
I didn't want distance. I have to say though, it was kind of satisfying when all this went down, and one of my longtime close friends was like, Sarah, I got to tell you, I never really liked her. She was like, and I'm not just saying that. She was like, I tried to for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. When you think, okay, there's this friendship breakup that's happened, you kind of think a mature person would just keep it between the two of you. But I would say a more immature reaction would be like, oh, let's try to get all of the friends on my side.
And I feel like that was attempted.
There was an attempted coup d'etat.
Coup.
There was.
I think people know me, and if they know me, then they know that it's not me.
Well, and you're not going to chase down friends. I mean, we're to an age
Nope.
where it's like, you're not going to try to campaign and be like, this is why you should pick me, vote
No.
for Sarah. That's not what is happening. But I sent you a clip earlier from Ocean's 13, and I love it. And I think I brought it up when the friendship kind of had ended. It's George Clooney's character talking to Al Pacino's character, and Al Pacino makes some threats. So
I know people highly invested in my survival, and they are people who really know how to hurt in ways you can't even imagine.
Well, first, I know all the guys that you'd hire to come after me. They like me better than you.
I'm going to put you in a world of hurt.
I know those people, and they like me better.
It's not like she's going to put you in a world of hurt, but
No.
maybe being like, oh, I'm going to try to win all the friendships. And it's like, you don't need that. You don't need to win. This is something where it's like everybody kind of loses.
Yeah, it still hurts. It'll always hurt. Just like with the divorce, it'll always hurt.
You always have some regret over the way things ended.
For sure.
Kind of going back though, when talking about like the lack of community support, a quote from the article, it said, somebody contributed and said, I really needed the same level of community support that I would if I'd been through the same experience with a significant other. So like the things that we would do, the breakup brunch, or, whatever. I mean, it seems very like Sex and the City-esque, where it's like, oh, all the women come and like support and, talk about like, oh, you're better off without them. But like, There's no rom-com about friendship breakup because
Is there though? Like Bride Wars or something?
But they reconcile in the end.
That's
like
true.
every movie that we see where there is, the big blowout fight, it seems like there's a reconciliation. They make up, they're fine. And, when it comes to like a romantic relationship ending, it's kind of, there's the fun of it of like, oh, you broke up with this person, move on, other fish in the sea. But with friendship, it does not hit that way. It does not it doesn't feel that way. People don't say, oh, your friendship ended, like, get back on the horse.
It's not that easy.
It's not that easy. Finding a friend and
feeling like you have somebody that really has your back, and then finding out like, oh, I guess they don't.
Again, another quote from this article, it says, clearly we've been misled by the prevalence of rom-coms to believe that romantic love is the end-all be-all of heartbreak, when in truth, women are out here agonizing over our closest friendships. Like the only acceptable heartbreak is over a romantic partner.
Yeah, women don't go to therapy for their friendships. Like, they don't go to couples therapy when things are getting rocky, when they're bothered by something.
You talk to your other friends about it.
That's yeah, you talk to your other friends about it.
That's like an untapped market for therapists, like friend therapy. They think, oh, go to your other friends.
Yeah, interesting.
I know, but there's something a little bit disposable about a friendship, right? Where it's like, okay, if it's not working for you, like, you just kind of cut your losses and move on.
Right.
But maybe there would be friendships that are worth saving if you did talk it with a third party. I don't know. If there's any therapists listening to this, weigh in. Do you ever see friends coming in?
And would that be worth looking into? Not for me, but like, if you have a friendship that is just getting toxic or going downhill, like, can we save this?
Is it worth saving? Yeah. Let's invest some time into this rather than just being like, we're done.
And I think one thing that has helped though is just time. Just kind of like with a death or with a breakup, time.
But you're still reminded of things, their birthday, you still feel a pinch around their birthday or whatever fun thing that you guys did together. If it's like, oh, last time,
inside
last year we did
jokes
this.
Or places.
Yeah.
Yes. I did send her a message on the 3-year anniversary of the day that my ex-husband told me that he filed for divorce. And I just said, like, 3 years ago, you were here for me when I really needed it. And I appreciate that.
Which, that's so nice.
Yeah. Well, she responded and said, you're welcome. I wish you all the good things.
At least there's not animosity. I feel like friendship breakups, I mean, there's the huge spectrum of how things can go down.
It's more than just the drift.
Yeah, which I feel like the drift is what happens probably most of the time. And that's probably like the appropriate way in a lot of times where it's like, if you know a friendship isn't working for you, slowly do things less and less. And there are certain things that, I mean, that's not always possible because if you're in a big friend group and you always hang out together. Through all of this, did anything shift with your other friendships?
I mean, yes and no. I drew closer to the friends that I knew were there for me. Like the friend that was like, oh, I never really liked her anyway. I realized she's been there the whole time. I let the shiny, sparkly intensity of this other friendship kind of draw my attention for a while. But then I realized, oh, this other friend has been here all along. So I really showed appreciation to her for that. Some friends I got closer to, some friends I didn't, and she sort of kept. And it's awkward sometimes when we do run into each other. I never quite know what to say or how to act. So I feel like when you are so deep with somebody, it's like you can't just go back to surface.
Yeah, it's like you can't forget that you know these things, have experienced these things, you know their struggles, you know their heartaches, and you can't just go back to being a casual friend. And it's not comfortable doing that. You don't want to have to pretend, and I doubt she does either. You said that you had your friends that you kind of tightened up with. She had kind of some friends that she tightened up a little bit. But another thing to think of is, how does this friendship affect your friends, right? Are there any friends that have felt that they're caught in the middle, or is it kind of divided a little bit?
Yeah, there was one who kind of felt caught in the middle, but then also she examined the dynamic and was like, Sarah, you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. There's no reason for this. I don't think what she did was cool.
in my life, I'm kind of dealing with something similar-ish, where I've got a group of friends, love them all individually. Two of them have decided they are no longer friends. And me and another friend, we, jokingly refer to it as the Civil War, just because it's been really hard. It's been, I'm not thinking that I'm not going to make it about me and say, their friendship breakup's hard for me. But a little bit, it is. It makes it challenging, and because the things
we used to all do things together. Now it's like, well, do we still invite both of them?
I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable spending time together when they both feel awkward about it. But then there's also the situation of, I want to, have you guys at these things, or we do separate things, we do separate group activities, and that's really fun. But also I feel a little bit of guilt. I feel a little bad posting about me doing this with,
the pictures.
Friend number one, knowing that friend number two is not there, and vice versa. It's just, it creates a hard thing. But again, it is harder for them than it is for me. It's just kind of a...
For sure. It makes it awkward. And then talking about something you did with this other person I don't know. It's all awkward. I
know, it makes it awkward, but it's like, I feel like one thing I will say for that situation is they have both been very, very adamant that they're not going to be talking poorly about each other to me. When I first found out that things had happened, I just nicely asked, like,
you were like,
I don't want to be
in Switzerland.
Yeah, like, I don't want to be in the middle of it. And they've both been really great about that, and not talking about each other or, trying to get me to be on a side. They've kind of kept it between them, but it is still
It's very mature.
Yes, I feel like it's mature of both of them, even though I know that there's a lot of hurt there.
What about some celebrity friendship breakups?
My celebrity friendship breakups, the thing that I think of all the time. There's the one that is pretty recent and pretty well known. So there's the Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, right? Their friendship has seemingly imploded. And I am also realistic to know that, like, so much of it is PR and we don't know exactly what's going on, but like, it seems that overall their friendship has ended, and it's because Blake said all these things, kind of insinuating that Taylor was her dragon, and the threat to leak texts and all the things. Like, you don't do that. You don't do that. And so it seems to me that their friendship is probably done. But what makes it really awkward is that she's the godmother to multiple of her children. Taylor is godmother to like 2 or 3 of Blake's kids. I don't know exactly what the role of a godparent is, but to be like, oh, the adults are no longer friends. Like, what does that do to the godparent-godchild relationship?
Right.
I don't know. Somebody who is versed in the godparent world, please tell us. If you and that other parent, what would you do? So there's that. But the friendship that I really am wondering about is, and this is more of a deep cut, or it's, not recent, is Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss. They were like best friends. And they were like, we're always together. They'd go on vacations together. They'd post about each other. They did magazine spreads together. And now it's like nothing. And I just wonder what happened there. I mean, there are theories, but nothing that is like, I'm hoping that someday Taylor Swift, when she's like 95 and on her deathbed,
writes a tell-all,
but I'll probably already be dead by then. Because if she's 95, I'd be like 98 or 99.
Isn't it kind of, what book was it? The
Evelyn Hugo.
7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yeah. So is that when we're going to get the real story behind what happened with Taylor and Karlie Kloss and Blake Lively? I hope so. I bet that there's somebody who is writing that biography. It's probably already Taylor probably has already connected with an author to like start writing those stories, or she could like be dictating, and like, this is my imagining
everything
scenario.
in her story vault.
That there's somebody who is working on this story vault, who is going to someday, when Taylor is old and gray,
or she's like, when I die, release it all.
Yes. Oh man.
The authorized
true
biography.
The true story of Taylor Swift. Maybe my children and grandchildren, they'll read it.
You hope this for them.
Seriously. Oh my gosh. That would be amazing. Yeah. But yes, very 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Like, I want to know.
So many juicy Juicy details.
Hey guys, just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for listening to this episode. I so appreciate you supporting this podcast in its very early days. Also wanted to do a quick request. If you are enjoying this podcast, if you like what you hear, if you're laughing, if you're nodding, if this is your vibe, please tell your friends. That is how this podcast is going to grow, is by word of mouth. Tell your circle about this. I would love for this podcast to reach so many more ears. And that is not something that I can do alone. I need you guys to help me. So thank you so much again for listening, for being here, for your support. Tell all your friends. You don't need to gatekeep, right? Another thing, do you have a friendship breakup story? Do you have something that happened in one of your friendships that still has you scratching your head? Or a situation where a friendship just imploded? If so, I'd love to hear about it. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, leave a comment. Tell me. I would love to know. This is fascinating information for me. Or you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars, please. Leave a review. Tell me what you're liking. Tell me what episode has been your favorite. Hearing whether people are liking it, what they're liking about this podcast, really is helpful for me as a newbie with all of this. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Let's shift gears a little bit. So when you're talking about okay, you went through the friendship breakup, you were on the receiving end, but what happens when you need to be the one that ends the friendship?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever been through that where I've had a friend where it's like, this is not a good situation. I've never had to do that.
I've never had that. But also, I'm not a confrontational person.
Would you do the fade out if you needed to?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably what would happen.
Well, because when you think of it, a lot of times it's like, what is the benefit of severing the friendship? Rather than saying, hey, I'm just really busy, I need space. Not that you're wanting to lie about it, but is there a need to do this dramatic ending?
I don't know. Maybe in some.
Yeah, I guess if something horrific enough happened.
But I think when you're really close, you can't just do the fade out without, that I kind of asked, why are you being so distant? Mm-hmm. The fade out had started. Yeah. And I was like, no, I need to know. So I think with a super close friendship, a fade out
doesn't work.
Maybe it might be more comfortable for both people if they're both afraid of confrontation. I don't like confrontation, but I'll ask for it if necessary.
When the friendship, when it feels like it's way too much effort, way too much drama, way too much, it was like a vampire relationship. It's like sucking the life out of you, or you're enmeshed in some way. I feel like you and your friendship, their boundaries were lacking.
Yeah, but I thought with good friends, you don't have boundaries. I wasn't prepared.
Have you ever had a situation, or, let's talk about, what about when friends don't really put the same amount of effort into a friendship? When there's somebody that you want to prioritize and to them, you're just kind of when it's convenient.
It's true. Sometimes it's not really about me. I have a friend who kind of goes into hibernation mode for long stretches of time, and I don't hear from her. But then she'll reemerge. It's someone that I truly do value, but I know that it's not about me.
Yeah.
And we don't live near each other. So when she's ready, she can reemerge.
Hey, so do you know Mel Robbins?
Okay, is she the one that does the let them thing?
Yes. She's a motivational speaker. She's kind of everywhere. But yeah, she does the let them theory. And then there's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is apparently you're supposed to be able to convince yourself to do anything or achieve anything if you just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in your head.
Find this.
So she has a super popular podcast, and I really do love her podcast, but she had an episode earlier this year. It's called The Truth About Why Friendships End. It was with a girl named Danielle Bayard Jackson, and so she's I guess this viral TikTok friendship coach, okay? And so her life's work is really focusing on female friendships and kind of the science behind it and the research behind it. She's really cool. She knows a lot.
Okay.
But this episode really focused on, as the title said, why friendships end. And I felt like it was really, really eye-opening for me. And it kind of, I don't know, took a little bit of the pressure off of, or maybe not the pressure, but the guilt of why some of my friendships have faded, even though I haven't had a breakup per se.
Right. We both have friends that we've been close to at different times of our lives. And then circumstances or life changes or whatever, you just kind of like lose that connection.
Exactly. So she has kind of three main points that she went into, and I'd love to just chat for a sec. So the first one is proximity. So how physically or socially close you are in your daily life. Because like really you think of your best friends. These are the people that you see the most often.
In person?
The people who, yeah, in-person friendships,
Yeah.
right? It's easy. You have reasons. You see them at various places. Like
Yeah.
you are at the same gym. You go to church together. You're on the same team, whatever. Like these friendships thrive. But then when the proximity changes, so like you move, you change jobs, you're just, doing something different in your life, maintaining the friendship is a lot harder, right?
Unless you go polo.
I know, I love Marco Polo really has helped in so many ways. But like there are a lot of friends. I mean, I've lived in Utah, Indiana, Tennessee in the past 10 years, right? So there are so many friends that were like my neighborhood friends in Utah. Like they were so important to my life, my work friends. But since moving away, I mean, obviously it's been 10 years since I left Utah, but we weren't able to maintain the same closeness. And it's not because we didn't like each other.
Just situations change.
Yeah. And so I think that's really relatable, but like
Yeah.
kind of taking yourself off the hook. Like, yes, you try to maintain friendships, but like, of course, it's not going to be the same. There's no way. So the second thing that she talks about is timing. So like where the seasons in your life align. I mean, there are times where you got your mom friends and they're the ones where they have kids the same ages as you. And that's why you click so well, right?
Yeah, you do play dates and like get the kids together to play, and then, you're talking and it works out.
So it's like you're in that same stage of like raising little kids. And so, yes, you naturally gravitate together. But then one thing I think of is my very best friends from high school. Obviously we were close in high school, but then we all went to separate colleges. And then we started kind of our young adulthood all separately. And we really lost touch except for when we were all in town. So proximity returned to, closeness.
Yeah.
Holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, we'd always make sure that we got together for a dinner, right? And now we still don't have the same proximity, but like our lives, we are all raising our children. Like we all are in that same stage of like our kids are in school. We're not raising babies. We're not empty nesters. But like now that our lives are back on that same page, we relate to each other in a way.
I mean, that is one of the pros of social media, is that it allows you to stay connected to people that don't live in your proximity anymore. I mean, there's a lot of cons to social media, but this is definitely one of the pros.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Again, like, is it the same closeness as, if they all lived in the same neighborhood as me?
No.
No. But with social media, with Marco Polo, with all like the ease of the modern age, we can do a whole lot more.
Yeah, I'm always really surprised when, like, our mom, she's got her high school friends that she still gets together with. And I mean, they've stayed in touch through 55 years. Yeah.
So yeah, but the timing of life, it's not as easy. Like my very best friend from high school, I mean, we were like BFF for probably 8 years, but then my life and her life are very, very different. Doesn't mean any of like our love for each other has changed or we didn't have any type of falling out, but like the timing of our lives is different.
Yeah, you guys
The vibes of our life.
stages.
Yeah. And so it's not as easy to like stay connected and be relating to each other. The third thing that Mel and Danielle talked about was energy. So like how the relationship feels energetically. So how you feel after spending time with them. I mean, think of how you feel after you spend time with certain people versus others. Like, do you feel energized and light, or do you feel drained and tense? Does it feel like something? And this is where, now tell me what you think. This is where I feel like your friendship with Brittany shifted. The energy changed, and it went from being kind of a safe spot. This is me completely like speculating, but it went from a safe spot to her. Some switch was flipped in this situation, and it no longer felt safe emotionally. Not that you did something horrible to her.
No, it makes sense that just the energy shifted.
Yeah. And so this friendship was no longer an emotionally safe relationship through, not that you were the villain in it.
No.
But just for her, the energy shifted. And so she
pulled back real hard.
Like we said before, she pulled back real hard. Yeah, I mean, it's still a bummer, but it kind of, for you to be able to grasp that the energy shifted, so it was no longer felt like a safe place for her.
And that's a perspective that I guess I hadn't been able to articulate previously. So that definitely gives me more of like the words to explain the feeling.
Yeah, it's not just this like, I don't know what happened. So there are just a couple other real quick things that I want to touch on from this podcast because it really, really was great. I'll put a link in the show description. So one of the things that like really stuck out to me is Danielle. She said, research shows that we replace about half of our friendships every 7 years. And this is true for both men and women.
That is
That's wild. I know. But if you think about it, not that you have fights with them and you have friend breakups, but you have friend
stages of life kind of change in regular cycles.
Yeah, like that just things fade out.
Uh-huh.
Your life is going to evolve and some friendships just no longer fit. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer because you think, oh, some of the friendships that I have right now, they're not going to be lasting forever.
Yeah, there's definitely been like a pruning phase in my life. And I'm sure it'll continue as I've recently moved. People are going to come in and fade out, and we'll see what's next.
One thing that I think of sometimes is, so our mom, her very best friend, BFF Tracy, they didn't become friends. First, they knew each other for like 10 years. And
Right.
the timing wasn't right. They had the proximity, but just the timing and energy was not right. They kind of like had parallel. They had a lot of similarities, but they didn't link up until later. And now, they've been best friends for what, like 15 years.
Yeah, that's true.
But to think like, hey, maybe, I mean, our friendship aside, obviously, but like maybe our best friends, we haven't even met them yet. One thing that they talked about in this podcast, which was the coolest thing ever to me, they used the tree metaphor, which I had never heard before. Have you heard of the tree metaphor when it comes to friendship?
No, never.
Okay, so visualize yourself as a tree, okay? You've got the leaves, you've got the branches, you've got the roots. So when you think of the leaves, you think of the seasonal friends, the friends that are like your college friends, your work colleagues, your young mom friends, teammates. Like these people, they're providing joy, they're providing support, they provide energy
They're
for a season. And then they naturally fall away.
Oh,
Okay? So those
kind
are
of
the leaves.
bittersweet.
It is bittersweet, yeah, but then also leave like more grow, right?
Yeah.
And then you think of the branches. And so these are strong long-term connections that they can weather storms, but they can still break over time. So these are friends that are a little, they're closer, more deep friendships, but still they might not be forever. And then if you think of the roots, these are the deep, often unseen friendships that remain strong even without frequent contact. So for me, it's like my high school friends, they all live in Indiana. I don't. I see them once every maybe 2, 3, 4 months. But like we stay strong.
Yeah.
Or my college friends that I see once every couple years.
Yeah.
It's like those are the deep rooted ones. I mean, you've got friends like that too.
Yeah, I definitely do. I've got friends that have moved away, but like I still consider them some of my closest friends. And then even now that I've moved, like I still have friends that I consider my besties.
And it's like you don't necessarily need the proximity to be able to maintain. So I love that metaphor, like the leaves with the seasonal friends, the branches with the long-term connections that might not be forever though, and then the roots.
Chrissy, you're one of my roots.
You're one of my roots. Yay. So anyway, I just really love that. I thought it was a really, really cool metaphor. And I just feel like it's okay for friendships to evolve. I mean, I know this episode is about the friend breakup, but I think it's like, okay, if we pan out a little bit, we just think of how any friendships end.
I remember being in middle school, and I had, I think, a different best friend every year. I think mine were really a lot about sort of who I had classes with or who, was in that, definitely that more of that proximity thing.
Yeah. And realizing like it is okay. You let go of your outdated connections and it makes room for the people who align with you the most. Not saying just dump every friend, but like realizing that it's natural and healthy and okay. Like the idea of you not maintaining close relationships with everybody who has been your friend ever, that doesn't mean that you're a bad friend or you're bad at keeping connections. It's like, this is just the natural
Interesting.
evolution or the
things.
it is the natural cycle of friendship. So anyway,
Very interesting.
So just to kind of wrap things up, I mean, if you've been ghosted, if you've been blocked, if you've been dropped without notice, like, congratulations, you're part of the club that nobody wants to be in.
Yeah.
But realize it's not that uncommon.
I hadn't really experienced it until recently. However, I look back and I mean, friendships when I was younger were always shifting. You get onto the bus and is your friend that you normally sit by sitting by somebody else? Like, what's happening?
One of my friends, I remember her saying, friends enter your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And realizing that if it's just, whatever reason or season of life, the ending of that friendship, it's okay to realize like, okay, that was not a forever friendship. Doesn't mean that it's like tragedy. It's just kind of, it is what it is.
You can still value that time and look back on it fondly.
So what did you learn from this friendship breakup?
I've learned that my sister is my forever friend.
Oh, I won't break up with you.
Thanks. I don't know if I could take it if you did.
That would be horrible. That would be horrible. You'd
I
have to
know.
do something truly awful. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Good.
run Ben over with a car
know.
or something.
Not going to do that unless he deserves it.
Yeah, if he deserves it, then you can. But so far he doesn't. And if this friend was listening right now, like, what would you say? What would you say to her?
I would say, why? Why? I would also say, I wish you peace and happiness, and that's about it.
That's like Gwyneth Paltrow saying, "I wish you well," to the man that was suing her for the ski accident. I wish you well.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
I wish you well.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully there will be a time, and maybe you've already gotten there, where, again, back to Taylor Swift, my number one, her song, "I Forgot That You Existed." It wasn't love, it wasn't hate, it's just indifference, And maybe there will be a time, not that you need to forget that she existed, but just, again.
Yeah. Not let it come up in my mind every day.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks.
Coming on for
Thanks
your
for having me.
three-peat. Thank you for your three-peat.
Yeah.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
All right, bye.
Bye.